Hey everybody, as you can see, coming to you from home, and that's are unavoidable. So I apologize in advance. You will almost certainly get a close-up of Minerva's rear end. Anyway, this is the week 2 bundle of assignments, and just going to go through everything with y'all, hopefully answer some questions before they come up. But as always, you are welcome to reach me by email anytime, by phone during any reasonable hours. I'll make sure to have that posted really prominently on Canvas so that y'all can find the number if you need it. Anyway, so just like last week, I'm going to go to the calendar view to, I'm so sorry, the calendar view to try and show everything that's due for this week. And again, that's the week of March 30th through April 2nd/3rd, depending on how you slice it. Officially, everything is listed as being due on Thursday the 2nd, but I have everything that's in Canvas, so everything but the AP Classroom progress checks should be available through the 3rd if you're getting things caught up. I know it's a quicker turnaround for this bunch than it was for the previous week. So the first thing I'll start out with is something that hopefully we're all familiar with by now, so it should be nice and quick. It's the Yellow Pages glossary. And just the last sets of words. We had words that were supposed to be due, what was it, March 16th, when we didn't end up actually having school. So I pushed it all back to, again, April 2nd. So just like before, make sure you're checking the Google Doc for your word. And then finding a good definition, make sure that the definition you're finding is the one that makes sense for an upper level English class. So again, some of these words, things like meter, we don't want the definition of meter that you would use in math class or in physics. Sorry, cat was about to fall off the table, which, well, see, that would have been better than this. Anyway, so, and an example, in perfect world, like it says up there, if you can find an example from something that we've read, that's awesome. But if you're finding an example elsewhere on the internet, that's also acceptable. Again, as long as it is an appropriate example for what we're doing in this class. The next thing we'll go over real quick is the discussion questions from Gatsby. So for this week, we're looking at chapters 3 and 4. And I have several questions that you can choose from there. And it's like last week, after you answer one of those questions for yourself, if you can respond briefly to 2 of your classmates. Just like before, I would be in teacher heaven if you responded to people who answered different questions than yours. So you're kind of interacting with as many of the different prompts as possible. But I get it. Sometimes, yeah, I'm not going to try and enforce that. Sometimes too many people are all answering the same question, especially when you're not seeing each other in person to say, oh yeah, this is the one I want to answer, and all that. So do what you can. I get it. And it does say down there the part 2. Sorry, I just hadn't scrolled far enough. All right, cat is truly wreaking havoc. All right, so that's Gatsby. And then for the following week bundle, I am probably going to give you, it'll be a daily grade since we're doing it online or from a distance, if not online, but a little quiz over chapters 1 through 4, just to kind of make sure that we're keeping up with everything and kind of know what's going on. So it'll be, like I said, relatively short and like I said, low stakes. It won't be a test grade, but we'll do that, just like I said, to kind of check on where things are. And then I know last week we had 2 essays to read. This week, between the fact that this story is a little on the longer side and the fact that you're going to be doing the progress checks on AP Classroom, I'm just giving you one other thing to read besides Gatsby. And it's a short story called The Yellow Wallpaper. And it's kind of fitting to be reading right now because it deals with a woman who is kind of being forced to isolate herself. And the consequences that has. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's super creepy, super fun. Well, super creepy anyway, which I think is super fun. So you will be getting a participation grade for answering the questions on Common Lit. So the link here will take you to Common Lit. I'll make sure to add the class code just in case some of y'all might not have that yet. I'll go ahead and add that as soon as I finish recording the video. So you can answer those questions and get that participation grade. I know the questions on Common Lit can sometimes be a little tricky, to say the least, and a struggle. So that'll be a participation grade, not the actual grade that it gives you in there. And then just like with Gatsby, I have some open-ended questions for you to choose from here, and then you can respond to classmates. So that's that. And then finally, I have the 2 progress checks. These are just links to get to AP Classroom. You'll be taking them in AP Classroom just like always. There's the free response. Sorry, I have it locked just because on AP Classroom, it's not going to be unlocked until Monday at 8 a.m. and then you'll have until Thursday at 3 p.m. to finish doing both. So there is the free response is a synthesis prompt, and the multiple choice section has reading and writing questions just like usual. 18 questions, I believe. And then just kind of quickly, I want to show you, this isn't due for almost exactly, well, for me right now, almost exactly a month. But so the next parts of the synthesis project, so it is already in Canvas. I'm just going to show you the Google Doc. It has it all together. But there is, as we've already discussed, the essay portion that you'll be writing, and then a presentation. So for the essay portion, it's pretty straightforward. So you're just going to be, just like with the synthesis essay on the AP test, which now that I think about that, College Board has made some announcements, but they don't have all the details yet about a altered version of the AP test that they have planned for this year to accommodate students whose schools might still be like ours is right now, just because, again, different areas. I mean, we don't even know how long we'll be like this. Officially, it's just through April 3rd, but there's already talk that it might have to go on longer. So anyway, that being said, to make sure everyone still has the opportunity to take an AP test of some kind, they are trying to come up with, or they are coming up with a 45-minute instead of the 3+ hour version, 45-minute version that people could take online from home. And it'll obviously be very different. They don't yet have announced what types of questions there will be. I'm assuming 45 minutes in English. That means all the questions will almost certainly have to be multiple choice. I don't know how they could fit. I mean, I don't even know how they could do a short written response in that time, let alone an essay, since those are already supposed to be 40-minute timed writings. So there's a very strong chance that when you actually take the AP test this year, there will not be a synthesis question as we've been practicing them. But for the Unit 6 progress check, that's still what's in AP Classroom. And it's still good practice because it's still the types of writing that you'll find yourself doing when you do research papers in in college. Sorry, got distracted by that truck. So anyway, so you'll be writing probably, this 750 to 1,000 word limits, longer than what you're, normally producing for the synthesis essay, but it's still on the, not super long side for a college level research paper. I know, again, at least for some of my classes, they were, often, 10 pages even. So this is still, at the introductory level, and not too much bigger than what a pretty solid version of the AP test ones have looked like in the past. I know we saw last time around when we were doing the You Be the Reader assignment, we had people who had written 4 and 5 pages handwritten, which is obviously not the same as typed. But do remember it's MLA format, so that 3 to 5 pages, it is double spaced, so it's probably not quite as gigantic as it might sound to you right now. And you have, like I said, lots of time to work on it. It does say in here, this is a paper with only a final draft, and technically speaking, that's true. I'm not going to be requiring you to turn in a rough draft to me. However, I would like, and it will depend how we do this, whether we're back in school by then or whether we're still doing distance learning, but one way or another, I would like to at least give people the option to have some peer editing, because I think that can be very, very useful. So as we get closer, I'll let you know what that'll look like, and I will probably make that maybe like an extra credit assignment, or I'll figure something out to where it's not too unfair to people who are following the letter of the assignment here, where it truly says it's only a final draft. But I think it's a good experience, and I'd like to give you the option to have some structured peer feedback. And there are some ways that we can do that, even if we are still online only by the time the end of April rolls around, which might be the case, I don't know. And then the second part of this is a presentation. And like as we get a little bit closer, I'll go into some more detail with what that will look like. And again, while I don't want to think too much about the prospect of us still being away from school and the classroom once May hits, we can't rule out that possibility yet. So I will, as we get closer, if it looks like that's the case, I'll make sure that I have some options for how we could do that online for the people who have the ability to do it online, how for people who don't have the technology at home to do that, what their options would look like. And if we are, hopefully, knock on wood, back in school by then, I will also give you, again, more detail of exactly what my expectations are. I'll post the rubric on Canvas, right? I think I already have it in Canvas. I just need to link it up with the project in there. So like I said, there'll be more information about this as we get closer, but since I have it posted in Canvas now, I wanted to at least address it just a little bit. And I think that should do it for this week. Thank you guys for bearing with me, and my exhibitionist cat there. Stay safe, and let me know if you have any. Oh, she came back. She came back. She heard me talking about her. All right, stay safe. Make good choices.